All right, well, welcome back to Exhaust Sports Auto. My name is Kevin, and you might be wondering, why am I doing this review on a 2011 Volvo XC90? Because you would be surprised, many families, many people are really interested in this car. Volvo has developed a name for being literally one of the safest cars on the road. So I'm here to find out what all of this is about. And special thank you to Cabriolet Motors off of Raleigh, North Carolina. If you're interested in purchasing this vehicle, it's like $7,000. If you want to take advantage of that, it's located here at this dealership. You're more than welcome to sell a vehicle under consignment to them, because that's literally the best way to sell a vehicle. And you can join their exotic car club if that interests you, but definitely peruse their website. It's a dealership that houses many special vehicles, Ferraris, McLarens, a Rolls-Royce Phantom, many things. So look at that and have fun with that, but let's get on with this review. Now, there's a couple of things to cover with this car, and personally, I would probably never have reviewed this car if I didn't know like the actual following that this car has. I mean, I never doubt Volvo enthusiasts. There's many of them out there in this world. 2011. This is actually the model year of this particular car, but this whole generation of XC90 ran from 2002 to 2014. So this car is damn near a classic. So this car, when it first came out, it won many awards, you know, car of the year, SUV of the year, all this jazz. So I'm gonna see if A, they're idiots, or B, if there's actually like a legitimate reason to go after this thing, because there is no doubting it that this car, from the exterior, it's not the most enticing looking thing. It's not the most spicy looking thing on the world, but hey, it's a big kind of boxy looking thing. You know, the most important thing is it weighs about 4,800 pounds and it's going to keep you safe. So not half bad, honestly. So you can decide for yourself. Apparently many people love the way that this car looked because, well, they made it until 02 to 2014. So clearly the buying population liked this car quite a bit. But enough of that, let's get into more pressing matters like the way that this car drives. Now, the reason why I'm interested in this is because I actually got a 2020 XC40 as a press car from Volvo, and I loved that thing. It was phenomenal. But this is kind of that old school when they're kind of owned by Ford a little bit, so it's a lot of part sharing with that. And we're about to see that in the interior segment here in a bit. But despite that, you know, this car is running at 18-inch wheels. This car is very heavy. So it's not the smoothest car in the world. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's got about 130,000 miles, as you can see by the title of this video. And I've driven, you know, plenty of Lexus cars and stuff like that. This is not quite as smooth as that, but you know what? That was only like when I was kind of screwing around in the parking lot. You know, the steering, like the air conditioning was like very loud. But now that I have it out on the road, this is pretty damn composed, driving extremely well, and it's very planted. A lot of that has to do with that very heavy curb weight, and that's why I like heavy vehicles in general, because they just naturally have like a sense of quality. And it's gonna mean that's gonna be soaking up a lot of the bumps a lot better. And you know what? It got pretty smooth out on the road, actually. This thing has a ZF rack and pinion steering rack, and as we're about to see, you know, out on the road, it's extremely reactive. I can really kind of appreciate the way that this car handles out on the road. I'm shocked at how well it's actually performing, to be honest with you. This thing, 2011 is a good year too, because 2011 is when the later model generation cars are the best, because that's when they introduced this inline six naturally aspirated 3.2 liter. There is a V8, quite the gas guzzler, but this is the motor that I kind of like, because it's that inline six and kind of sounds pretty throaty, you know, has a lot more character than a V6 would, so I like the fact that they use that. You know, when there's an inline six option, I don't mind not going with the V8, especially since this gets a little bit better fuel economy, so there is that. It's a big heavy car. But yes, 235 horsepower and 236 pounds-feet of torque. Back in the day when this thing first came out, 02, it was like a 5-cylinder turbo and like a twin turbo inline six thing. Very strange stuff, obscure engine options. Now you have a kind of more proper naturally aspirated options here, a V8 and an inline six. And this inline six is pretty good, as we're about to see. You know, I'm about to bust this little U-turn, you know, rather tight for a large vehicle like this, and getting on the throttle. It's not the fastest thing in the world or anything like that, but it feels like it's much faster than it is. And it starts to pull after, you know what I'm saying? It's a motor that's, you know, very much naturally aspirated, keeps pulling after the fact. So I like that quite a bit. You feel like you're going 1,000 miles an hour in this thing, but you're really not. You're doing about 45 when you floor it in, you know what I'm saying? So it's not super fast, but I'll be honest with you, my first impressions of this car were not very high when I was just in the parking lot, just screwing with the car. The interior hasn't really, it's very crunchy in here. A lot of kind of little creaks and rattles and stuff. It's that Ford interior, you know what I'm saying? So not the best put together, but there's a lot of Volvo technology here, and it's driving extremely well. You know, it's not drive like an old Ford or something like that. There's a genuine amount of, you know, thought put into this car. It's just a strut-based suspension up front and a multi-link in the rear, so there is that. But regardless, it handles pretty damn well. There's a lot of technology put in here. You know, Volvo trying to be the safest car on the planet or whatever. The earlier model SUVs, you know, Tahoes and stuff like that, are flipping over or flipping upside down. Volvo saw that. They're trying to kind of, you know, remedy that a little bit here with these cars. So look at that, just smooth steering. It's not fast at all, but it feels so damn quick. I don't know what that is, but something about that engine, it's so loud the way it comes on, so there's that. But, you know, this car is fitted with all kinds of anti-roll technology. They use like the stability control to, like, you know, prevent the car from rolling over on itself. It has like rolling sensors and all that stuff. This thing is chock full of sensors and crap. All the stuff that, you know, we're come to be accustomed to today, that was very rare back then. This car had all that blind spot monitoring. This thing is feature packed in here. So if you're like against Japanese cars for whatever reason, you're bougie, you gotta have something like Swedish or European, also cheap, you know, let's be honest. It's a very affordable car. This thing's really like, what, 40, 50 racks when they're brand new. This car comes with a lot of features for the money. A slight little warranty would help. I would definitely advise getting a little warranty on something like this if you can find one before coming to purchase something like this. But this is very good nonetheless. You know, I like all the little safety features that they put in here. A lot of it has a backup camera and all that crap, which I'll show you in the interior segment. A little screen actually. It has parking sensors as well. It's a safe car, but, you know, like the way it is, like the chassis of this car, they use like these special kind of stainless steel kind of you know, materials for like the roof material here and stuff like that. The way the front is designed, you know, might not look very exciting, but it's meant to, like, you know, deflect passengers. It makes for a pretty funny scene in your head, but, you know, that's what it's for. And, you know, when you get rear-ended in this car, you know, God forbid, it'll prevent whiplash. You know, that's kind of the way they designed the entire shell of this car. It's very impressive what they've been able to do here. And, you know, out on the road, I'm beginning to really appreciate this a lot more. Again, it's not the most refined car. A lot of noises, you know, it's got a few little vibrations and stuff. When I was first kind of idling in the parking lot, it's not doing it anymore, but the whole, like, driver's side mirror here was kind of like, you know, vibrating and stuff. It's not doing that anymore, don't worry. After it kind of got warmed up to temp, it's pretty smooth now. But, you know, brakes are great. From a driving perspective, I have a ton of confidence. It feels very stable, but there is a lot of more road noise, wind noise, stuff like that. It's kind of older generation vehicle, so you gotta kind of have to expect that, but it feels very truckish, very truck-like. So if you like that big, substantial, meaty feel, you're gonna like this. Also, it's not attracting a whole lot of attention, you know what I'm saying? It's a nice, big, safe vehicle that you can kind of put your family inside of, and you don't have to worry too much about unnecessary attention and all that crap. You know, at speed, it feels extremely smooth. You know, no real issues there. Their wind noise is actually pretty well calibrated, so I don't mind that. But yeah, there is some road noise here. You know, those 18-inch wheels, you know, that's kind of like the most comfortable setup that you can kind of ask for with a vehicle like this. So there's that. It's about 235 wide tires, but, you know, it doesn't seem too wide for a big, heavy vehicle like this, but actually does a pretty good job of cornering and stuff like that. Most important thing, no, it does not ever feel like it's going to tip over when I bust tight turns and stuff like that. You know, I feel very confident whipping this car in and out of traffic. Volvo did a great job for back in the day of keeping the center of gravity low in this car. Again, I'm impressed. I thought I had to roast this car, to be honest with you. Would you enjoy driving something like this on a day-to-day basis? You know, in a strange way, yes. Slight little rattle coming from the little back there, but, you know, overall it's very smooth actually. Do I get the appeal of a Volvo? I mean, definitely the new ones. They're very kind of lightweight feeling, where this is more of a substantial feeling. And let's be honest, the most important thing with this car, it's certainly going to keep you safe. You know, definitely this thing could actually save your life. You know, if you have a lot of kids and stuff like that. This is a 3-row car. I would advise you leaving the 3rd row down, though, the way it is, just using it as a 5-passenger vehicle. But if you have family, you know, stuff like that matters. And I can see why these things are very popular in the used car segment, and why families want to take a look at this thing. Okay, let's talk about this interior here. So yes, this car is chock full of options and features and stuff like that, especially for the age of this vehicle. But let's be honest, it is truly that Ford interior. You know what I'm saying? It definitely has its deficiencies. You know, pretty crunchy stuff going on here, especially when you start screwing with some of the plastics here. If that matters to you, you know what I'm saying, the interior refinement's not the highest I've ever seen, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? At least everything feels heavy and substantial, like from the doors and stuff like that. When you get in here, when you close that thing, it's very bank vault feeling in here. That's kind of the appeal. That's why this thing matters. There's a lot going on here. You know, it might be an older car, but there's so many buttons here. It can be a bit cumbersome. It's not the most ergonomic thing in the world. It's not what the Swedes are known for, I guess. So there's a bit of a learning curve in here, but when you get in here, you can definitely get used to it. You know, whole climate control system, completely separated from this screen, essentially. You know, I don't even know what this screen is used for, or if I can even bring the thing back up again. I have no idea. I don't think I could bring that screen back up again. That's usually only comes back on. Put the car into reverse, and the screen like kind of pops up, shows me a little unclear backup camera with like a fisheye thing going on. I mean, I just use like the big mirrors on this car, you know, very easy to see out of, you know, big boxy mirrors and all that good stuff. It's the only thing is this big kind of B pillar right here. That's about it. Other than that, when you just kind of look around it, very easy car to see out of, so I'm not really too worried about that. You do have one touch up and down windows just for the front two windows here, and it's not double pane glass or anything like that. Would kind of help making it a little bit more quieter, but you know, whatever. It's an older car. They had to kind of cut some costs here and there, so there is that. Has some type of audio system, premium sound. That's all it says. Does it sound good? It sounds okay. It sounds surprisingly decent for the age, so I'm not really tripping over that. You have normal turn signals and stuff like that, so I'm glad to see that. You have a foot-operated parking brake, so that's pretty cool, I guess. You have a little touchpad, dial pad thing here for entering in phone numbers. This car actually has Bluetooth, so you can actually take advantage of that, so I do like to see that in here. Turn on and off your rear ACs, your blind spot monitoring, I believe, and you can fold your mirrors in and out right here with some of these middle buttons here. Traditional kind of gear lever with some kind of plastic, fake-looking wood thing here. So I do like the gear shifter. I do like that. Nice two big cup holders. This crunchy center armrest. It houses two remotes because, as we're about to see in the rear, you can pretty much hook up a PlayStation back there if you wanted to. But yeah, the side pocket door here, it's got a space for a water bottle, so that's pretty good. Nice sized glove box. Of course, it's still a practical car. I like the rear view mirror, very easy to see out of. You do have a sunroof here. So, you know, again, you know, nice little features for a 2011 car, you know, for the price point. I mean, I am impressed with everything that this car comes with. Let's see here, steering wheel. I like the size of the steering wheel. It's not too big, and I feel like this is definitely a hydraulic steering ride because this is very connected feel. That's probably why it's not so smooth at the, you know, parking lot speeds and stuff like that. The gauge cluster, very simple to read. There's no gimmicks there. You do have some controls on your steering wheel here as well. The seats, you know, there's some wear on the seats, but they are extremely comfortable. I really appreciate just, you know, how comfy these seats are. You know, that really aids in this car not being so fatiguing feeling. So everything, you know, like the steering wheel, seats, you know, has a nice little solid feel to it, and the stuff that matters, the stuff that you interact with the most are very nice. So I like that. But now let's go ahead and let's talk about the rear seats. So the rear seats are not like ginormous. You know, it's almost like a Range Rover Sport, if you will. For whatever reason, you know, these are large vehicles, 190 inches long, and I definitely fit back there. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like they had to make room for a third row, so that's why it's kind of a little bit more compromised in the second row. But it's not too bad. You know, I'm 5'11". I can kind of slide in and out here very easily. Very easy car to get in and out of. I like that. Same thing with the rear seats. Very easy to get into, and I just sit back there. No real issues. Headroom is never really an issue with vehicles like this, so definitely a 5-passenger car, no issues. And the trunk is extremely large, no issues with the trunk whatsoever. Has like this split open thing going on. You know, a lot of people like to put the second thing down and like sit on it or something. I never understood the point of that, but whatever. You do have that. You open that up. It's a split gate, and you have to keep in mind the load floor is higher than average, but the space is very good. So when you put heavier stuff back there, you actually had to, like, you know, lift it up a little bit more. You can't just plop it in there. So something you have to keep in mind. Also, for whatever reason, from the key fob, when I try to open up the trunk, it doesn't really open. So I don't know what's up with that, but when you just pull on it, it works perfectly. So that's great. So as a whole, what do I think about it? I mean, for this type of price point, I got no issues with it. This is a fine vehicle for $6,000 to $7,000, and a good little family hauler. You know, if you just need something cheap to get you around for a little bit, I definitely recommend. If you want to keep it a little bit more long term, maybe I suggest looking into a warranty or something like that before you purchase something like this. Yeah, I appreciate it. I see the appeal of it. It has its own little unique feel to it. It's very natural feeling. You know what I'm saying? It does not feel like any of the new, like, electric power steering crap cars that are out there right now. You know, none of the. It's a lot of fun to rig this car out, I'm not going to lie. That inline 6-cylinder engine was pretty nice. I like driving this car way more than I thought I would, so that was kind of a refreshing thing, I suppose. But yeah, that inline six, very loud motor. That's a lot of fun to ring out, so that was pretty good. Comfort is pretty good, actually. Once you actually get out on the road, the smoothness and everything like that's pretty good. Just a bit of tire noise, a few little creaks and rattles. That's about it. So $7,000 if you want to take advantage of it. It is located at Cabriolet Motors. Also, consider selling your vehicle under consignment, because it is literally the best way to sell a vehicle. You get pretty much full market price minus their little commission. So that's one of the main things that they like to tout here. And so there you go. Let me know your thoughts about the XC90. If you're an owner of this car, please let me know how it's held up for you. I would like to hear about it. But hopefully you found value with this video and this review. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.